Hello, a lot of people ask me how I do these signs like this and get them painted so good. And I say I use an airbrush, and they go, well, how do you do it with airbrush? So I'm just gonna show you real quick, easy what I do and how it comes out. So this one's already done. These signs here, let's take this one, Life is Better at the Beach. And I'm gonna show you. So I went ahead and cut it out on the Silverback 6060. And then I use an orbital sander, which is my best friend for sanding, with 180 grit paper. I sometimes use 150, but not higher than 180 because I want it a little bit rougher. And basically what I'm doing is I'm going over really good, but keep moving, and I'm leaning right over the edge a little bit. And that kind of helps get all the edges, the sides. Same thing here. Pretty much easy sanding. The orbital sander works great. It doesn't leave any lines, but most importantly, make sure you go over the cuts. And reason why, I'll show you. Same thing with the back. Kind of lean it down a little bit, so if you can see, I'm like leaning down, so you can take those burrs off. And as you can see, sometimes when you're done the cutting, you get, the wood chips or marks or whatever on there, and the orbital sander just makes light work of that. And when you when you lean it a little bit, it gets all these edges. And then I actually got to go a little more right here, and then I'll show you how I airbrush it. All right, so now that we've got it sanded, one thing I did was I went ahead and sprayed a really thin layer of polyurethane, just some type of spray. And you don't have to. I do it sometimes because depending on the wood, if it's porous or not, sometimes when you airbrush, it's a little bit harder to get sanded off. So if you put just a thin layer of this, it's going to be easier. This paint's going to go over top of that and sand it off. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and airbrush this, and I'll show you how to finish it. All right, so I basically have just a basic airbrush paint, black, my airbrush, and I try and stay just within the lettering. So as you can see here, okay, so as you can see, pretty much got it. Try and get any imperfections if you can find any. Especially down in the little crevices here. You definitely want to make sure that you get it really good, because once you sand it, I mean, you could always come back and add more paint, but you want to try and get as much as you can. I probably shouldn't have did so much there, but that's okay. We're there. So, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let this dry, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how we finish it off. All right, now that it's dry, as you can see, there isn't really any imperfections or anything, but this is what I do. I use 180 grit sandpaper, and as you can see on here, we're going to just sand this down. Good sandpaper. Like I said, I use 180 grit. Sometimes I'll use 150, but 180 is good. And you can see, taking the paint right off, kind of goes smooth, and then just kind of get some detail area. pretty good. You can see some of the, like I said, the reason why I do the paint, you can see it's in some of the wood here that won't come out very well, but it's okay, I'm staining it. But that's why I spray it with polyurethane first. But let me get my airbrush and show you the result before we stain it. I mean my air. You can see. So that's pretty much how I get it perfect as I want it. And then I use the stain, but I like to use a small brush because on something like this, I don't want to really douse it in the lettering if I don't have to. Probably best to have a little rag with you, which I don't at the moment, but as you can see, this is what this is really dark. Wow, this is dark cherry. And just go lightly over the lettering part, and this would have looked really nice with white, maybe. As you can see, just goes right over it there. Some more. Whoops. Get a rag in a minute. That's it. Looks pretty. Yeah, I probably could have did white, but that's okay. I just wanted to show you how I do it. If I would have did white, then would have been a little bit different because then the stain would have stained the colors, but then I would have had to mask it. But let me get a rag real quick. Normally my stain isn't quite this dark, but as you can see, comes out pretty good. Get in there the best you can. And get stain all over you. And then I'll just continue staining the outside of it, but that's pretty much how I do it. Do the airbrush, and then paint it, and then sand it down really good. And as you can see, that came out pretty good. If I was going to do a white, I probably would have masked it first, which I may do a tutorial if you guys want for that, and then carved it, and then you know, sprayed it white, and then took it off afterwards. But so there you have it. If you have any questions, let me know.